FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
While things are very different for women in sport today, they're not what I predicted. When Title IX happened, I thought, by the time we get to 2000, every girl will be playing sports. And I would suspect that in terms of the children you know, that most girls are playing sports. But I'm here to tell you that one of the biggest fears that I have today is that lower socioeconomic level girls are not playing sports. Everybody in this room, I would think, your daughters, your granddaughters are playing sports because you can buy that opportunity. When I was growing up and when you were growing up, you didn't have to buy youth sports for kids. You came home from school, you changed your clothes, your parents made it very clear, you better be home before the street lights get on. You disappeared for 6 or 7 hours, and you played sports from the time you got home to dark. And it didn't cost you anything. Today, the average cost for a kid getting involved in youth sports is $250 a kid, beyond the scope of a lower socioeconomic level family's imagination or ability. And so when you think that 43% of the US population lives in the top 20 metro areas in the United States, and that the great majority of those kids and those families are in a lower socioeconomic level group, there's a ton of kids who aren't getting exposed to sport today. Another reason they're not out playing the way we did is because it used to be that parents weren't afraid of letting their kids outside to play after school. Everybody in the neighborhood kept track of them. In fact, you break a window, you make a mistake, your mother knew by the time you came home. You were in big trouble. This doesn't happen anymore. Parents are afraid to let their kids out unless it's organized and there's adult supervision. That costs money. They can't do it. They're more likely to be inside. No wonder that children today are spending 3 to 6 hours on the average a day before a television set or a computer. We are programming our kids into a sedentary lifestyle. At the same time, and what I'm describing is a 30-year process of a disintegrating youth sport structure. At the same time, there's no more mandatory physical education in the schools. When you and I went to school, you had to have your gym uniform ironed. It was ugly, but you had to have it ironed. Your white sneakers had to be polished. Think of what we went through in gym, and we had it every day. That doesn't exist anymore. There's only one state in the union that has mandatory physical education every day. So there are schools that were delivering for free physical activity to every single kid are no longer doing that. Further, putting lower socioeconomic level kids at risk. So access to sport has become an economic class issue, and that's a very dangerous thing. So what has that resulted in? Well, if 1 out of every 3 girls, or 1 out of every 2.5 girls is playing sports, 1 out of every 2 boys is playing sports at the high school level, I'm here to tell you that the second kid is sedentary, getting no exercise a week, averaging 0, and the partial of the third kid, this 2.5, is getting no more than 20 minutes of physical activity a week. As a result, it's a scary future. If we continue with 2 out of 3 kids not getting even the most minimal physical activity, then 1 out of every 3 children born in the year 2000 is going to be a type 2 diabetic. And economically, we cannot afford to deal with that kind of a health statistic. This will be the first generation of children who do not meet the life expectancies of their parents. Think about that. That is a huge cultural change. It was totally unanticipated, some 36 years ago when women were beating the doors down for a chance to play sports. And that is really the bigger problem that we face right now. Sure, we've got to fight to continue to give women an equal chance to play, but there is a bigger deal out there, and that is encouraging every kid and making sure lower socioeconomic level kids really get a chance to play.